Welcome to the Brandywine Christina Cluster. My name is Grant Acosta. I'm with the Brandywine Conservancy and the coordinator of the Brandywine Christina Cluster as part of the William Penn Foundation Delaware River Watershed Initiative. Joined today by Jim Jordan and Brian Winslow from the Brandywine Red Clay Alliance. We're about to take you out for an exciting adventure to see and help us celebrate the successes we've accomplished through this exciting initiative to improve the water quality of our watershed. We've had the benefit of working with many landowners that span the spectrum of the different land uses we have here in the watershed. And today we're going to go ahead and meet with them and check in on how the work we've done to help them improve soil and water quality throughout the watershed is settling in, maturing, and delivering the results we sought.
So my name is John Jackson. I'm Senior Research Scientist at the Stroud Water Research Center. The mission of the Delaware River Watershed Initiative is more clean water. More clean water for drinking, healthier streams. Various groups of people have been working together for more than a decade to find that goal, to work toward that goal. This is a classic kind of watershed we've been working on. Science tells us repeatedly the health of the stream reflects the health of the watershed. And so we've taken that approach here in the West Branch of Red Clay, but we also did that in 5 other places. It was a big challenge to say we're going to work on 7 square miles or 7.5 square miles. But to say that we're going to do that here, and then we're going to go and do that 3 times over in the nearby stream, White Clay Creek, then we're going to do it 2 more times in the headwaters of the Brandywine up by Honeybrook. That was really ambitious on the part of all the partners. Over 10 miles of streams worked on here, 20,000 trees just in this watershed. The same thing is happening in 3 branches of the White Clay, and even over 100 farms involved. We've made significant progress, only because from the very beginning we've taken a really big picture approach, saying that everybody's part of the problem and everybody's part of the solution.
So I'm David Wise. I work with Stroud Water Research Center, and I had the privilege of getting to know the landowner here. That led to discussion about a project potential. Capturing roof water off the barn, keep the clean water clean, keep it out of the muddy areas, keep it out of the manure areas, and get it on down to the stream in a clean state rather than dirty. The conservation ask from Stroud Water Research Center is, landowner, please work with us to install a forested riparian buffer. And we ask that they do it on all of their stream areas, at least 35 feet wide. In this watershed, we've averaged 90 feet per side, so 180-foot swath of trees. And the reason we do these forested buffers is the upland practices are imperfect. We need the streams to be vibrant and vital and doing a really robust job of also taking care of contaminants, both biological and chemical. And forested buffers are profoundly able to do that, enable streams to do that work for us.
What we're standing in front of is a biochar experiment or a biochar installation where we have redirected the runoff off of this spray irrigation field as well as off of this part of the farm through this carbon filter in essence. There's like the equivalent of a buried carbon filter underneath me here. The whole idea is okay, the landscape absorbs some of the pollutants, excess nitrogen, excess phosphorus, other things coming off of the landscape. But will this biochar absorb even more?
We started cover cropping over 20 years and basically the cover crop, you know, some of the cover crops we harvest, like our wheat and barley, I still consider it a cover crop because we're putting living roots into the soil. And I think that's important, you know, for one, it uptakes any leftover nutrients from our previous crop, from our corn or soybeans or whatever the full season crop that year may have been. So it uptakes those nutrients. It has living roots in the ground for all the microbes and everything else throughout the winter, and it also, you know, stabilizes our soil so it doesn't erode off the field. We don't get any kind of wind erosion or anything of that nature, and just all the roots, you know, making all those their way into the soil. We can really tell a difference with our organic matter levels increasing yearly.
The White Clay Creek is home to one of our focus areas for the Delaware River Watershed Initiative, and like all of our focus areas has some of those key characteristics that make all of this region so special. Everything from its federally designation as a wild and scenic river, including its watershed, as well as the partnerships, the landowners, and the work we've done here.
So one of the complementary strategies of the Brandywine Christina cluster was to work with municipalities on stormwater. And so we're interested in the volume and quality of stormwater leaving different facilities. And one way we did that was to partner with an existing coalition of Christina Watershed Municipal Partnership, which is CWMP, in which we work with 42 municipalities, helping them address their stormwater plans that are required by the state. We do that through technical assistance. We do that with helping them identify projects and implement projects. And so one of the projects that we wanted to feature was working with West Grove Borough and implementing a rain garden, which is a green stormwater infrastructure that allows the water to go into the ground rather than through pipes directly to the stream.
My name is Greg McCummings, manager of West Grove Borough, and behind me is the rain garden that we worked with Shane Morgan and the White Clay Watershed to install. Some of the benefits that the borough has received from this is the amount of public education we're able to provide with the signage. One of the other benefits that we had is our public works team being able to contribute to the project. There was a lot of coordination between different organizations, different funding sources, and we at the borough were able to get the projects installed with in-kind services from our Public Works Department.
So I'm Shane Morgan, and I'm the director of the White Clay Wild and Scenic River Program, and we're also a member of CWMP. And so we pretty much led this process to implement the rain garden here at the library. If you see the gutters on each side of the building, they come down into the rain garden, which you can't even see, but it's a big depression in front of the library right there. It's about, I want to say 18 inches deep, and it collects all the water from that lower roof. What's great about this garden, it's wintertime now or fall, so you see all the seed heads. It still provides interest as opposed to just like a plain lawn full of grass. But throughout the season, it has different colors. It brings in other pollinators, so it has habitat benefits as well as stormwater benefits. It should reduce sediment load. I think it was 59 pounds annually.
We have the pleasure next of heading up to the uppermost headwaters of the Brandywine Christina watershed, being Honeybrook Township. Most of that land, while in farming, is unique in that it is controlled primarily by Amish, Mennonite, and other Plain Sect denomination farmers.
So I'm John Goodall. I'm with the Brandywine Conservancy. We're standing today in Honeybrook Township. This is the northernmost reaches of the Brandywine watershed. About 5 minutes away, you have the Welsh Mountains where the spring begins. It feeds into the west and east branches of the Brandywine. It meanders through this township on its way through Downingtown, down through Chadds Ford, where our home office is, and eventually down to the city of Wilmington and into the Delaware. If you don't start in the headwaters and work on clean water and preservation, you have a struggle the rest of the way. And for over 25 years, the Brandywine Conservancy has been working up in Honeybrook Township to start on the best foot forward. Now up here, we're looking at about 16,000 acres in size for the township. 12,000 of those acres are in agriculture, and over 10,000 of those acres are under Plain Sect or Amish control. These are single-family farms, multi-generational, and this property here, the Jonas Fisher property, is really quintessential of what we do up here, which is working in partnership to create preservation and sustainability in the farming community while improving water quality. That takes a lot of help and a lot of partnerships. One of the really neat things about working with the Plain Sect is that you're developing not only the partnership to keep farming going and sustainable and water quality, but you're also developing friendships and trust. And that's where, you know, it really begins and ends with the farming community. Because of what we began in the middle 2000s, today, this farm not only has stream crossings, stream fencing, riparian plantings. We're looking at cover crops, no-till. We have gutters on all the barns. These sort of practices take time, and the relationships that we've developed, because we've been given the time through the fundings like the William Penn Foundation, has afforded us this opportunity.
I'm Jim Jordan. I'm the Executive Director and CEO for Brandywine Red Clay Alliance, and we're up here in farm country, and a lot of what we do, it comes down to education. To try and portray the importance of clean water, what we do is a trout stocking. So the SEC community is very much into the outdoors. They love hunting and fishing. So what we do is we actually stock trout, but we don't stock the trout ourselves. We have the school kids do it. So and probably with all of our conservation partners, it's a highlight of our year is to get out here with kids 6 to 12 years old, and the kids are actually stocking trout and show them if you have clean water, you can have trout, you can have fishing in your stream. So it's starting out young because this community grows up quickly, but it's a great way to get the next generation involved.
Continuing our travels through the watershed here, next we're going to be entering the Plum Run watershed.
So with Plum Run, we're going to be going to the site of the Strodes Mill Dam. So one of the strategies for the Brandywine-Christina cluster was to look at stream restoration opportunities to address places where stream bank erosion was contributing sediment to the stream as well as nutrients. We would identify the high priority sites where there was steeply eroding banks and work on stabilization projects. So Plum Run was one where we identified a whole watershed of opportunities and ended up completing 7 projects on nearly 2 miles of streams. And where we're standing here, right where I'm standing actually, is the site of the old Strodes Mill Dam. And so the dam came across both tributaries of Plum Run and created a more than half-mile mill pond. At the same time that people 200-300 years ago were farming and cutting the trees off the hillsides, they were building dams for different mills, for power sources. And that combination of development created soils that washed off the hillsides and then piled up, accumulated behind the dams. And what you're looking at here is basically legacy sediment from the hillsides. Once the dams were no longer in use and became breached, the stream then cut a new channel through those sediments that continues to contribute sediment into the stream. So what we did here is we pulled the stream banks back, removed the sediment, pulled it back to a 3 or 4 to 1 slope. Where there was still erosion occurring, we put in erosion control devices, and then we planted over 13 acres of buffer within this 5,000-foot section of Plum Run right outside of Westchester.
I'm Rich Pfeiffer. I'm the Director of Property and Recreation for East Bradford Township. The work that Brian and the Brandywine Red Clay Alliance have done through this corridor has been truly transformative. The township has come into acquisition of over 40 acres of land along Plum Run, and the work that's been taking place to restore the stream banks, riparian buffers, is really segueing into public access upgrades that the township is doing, also in partnership with some of the same organizations that help fund the stream restoration efforts.
Hi, my name's Ryan Steiber. I'm a property steward here at East Bradford Township. This isn't something you can just walk away from. This is something where you come out here, whether it's a string trimmer, whether it's loppers, whether it's just your 2 bare hands, you come out here and you have to define all of the invasives around here to make sure these native species can thrive down here at the Plum Run Preserve.
Natural Lands is one of the partners in the Brandywine cluster focused on municipal ordinances and green stormwater infrastructure to protect water resources. During the grant period, Natural Lands had the opportunity to preserve the 312-acre Craybilly Farm in the Brandywine watershed, 2/3 of which will become a publicly accessible, township-owned passive-use park. This oasis of open space in a rapidly growing part of Chester County encompasses rustling meadows, rolling fields, meandering streams, and a habitat for birds and wildlife. Preserving natural areas is a key strategy in protecting water quality. With grant support, Natural Lands worked with Westtown Township, federal, state, and county partners and many generous donors to preserve Craybilly Farm in perpetuity.
Hi, I'm Gerald Kaufman, Director of the University of Delaware's Water Resources Center, and we're here on the banks of the Brandywine River in Shadd's Ford. I just want to thank the William Penn Foundation, because the foundation came along just at the moment in time that we needed for the health of the Delaware River. And I just wanted to thank them very much. And I think the health of the Delaware and the tributaries like the Brandywine, White Clay, Red Clay, Christina, that provide drinking water to about 750,000 people in both states, are the better for it. I can't wait to see you guys what you do next.
My name is Maria Jimbowska, and I'm the Director of the Conservation Innovation Fund. And I'm going to say a few words about the Brandywine Christina Water Fund, which is an innovative market-based financing mechanism to help advance water quality improvements in the watershed. This is an initiative that was started thanks to the William Penn Foundation and its Delaware River Watershed Initiative.
Hi, I'm Martha Narvaez. I work at the University of Delaware Water Resources Center. We were all sort of working within the same geography, but this funding enabled all of us to work together in a more coordinated fashion. And it's really great that we're standing here on the Brandywine right now, because this is kind of where it all started, where we all started talking with one another and trying to figure out the best ways that we could all do our work collectively. We all have an ability to work together, and it's been really helpful in figuring out what people's strengths and weaknesses are. And we've figured out our work is not complete. We are not done. We have all sorts of things on our plates that we'd like to continue. And the DRWI has given us the strength to work together and continue our efforts throughout the watershed in Pennsylvania and in Delaware.
People wonder why we work so hard in the watershed conservation field and why it's so important. And part of the Delaware River Watershed Initiative and the work that all of our partners do is taking care of our natural resources. We as a human race have done a pretty poor job of taking care of our natural resources. And the organizations that are part of the DRWI cluster with funding by William Penn Foundation, trying to right a lot of those wrongs. At the same time, we're competing against population growth and urbanization. It's all about clean water coming out of a tap, so people have clean, safe drinking water, but it's also about habitat and biodiversity. It's critically important that we provide good quality habitat for our natural resources, the macroinvertebrates, the frogs, and the fish that live in the stream. And then all the animals that prey on those fish as part of the great food chain. DWI is ending after over 10 years, but our work as conservation organizations is not. We still have a lot of work left to do. It's kind of a race against time, so we've done a lot. We've had a lot of successes, some failures, but we have so much more work to do. Thanks for joining us today on this virtual tour. We appreciate your interest in conservation. Done a lot of work, we've got a lot more to do, so hope you'll stay with us.